Hello, and welcome to the Being Human podcast, where we explore what it means to be human, physically, mentally, and spiritually. We upload an episode of this podcast every single week, so whether you're new here or especially if you're returning and you have not yet, hit that subscribe button. That is the best way you can help support the podcast, and it also ensures you do not miss any of these episodes. On this episode of the podcast, I sat down with the one and only Braulio Estima. Braulio really needs no introduction, one of the greatest grapplers of all time. Braulio was kind enough to sit down with me and talk about his whole career, his whole journey through the sport of Jiu-Jitsu. We started from the very beginning, from his very beginnings in Brazil, his childhood, when he actually started properly training Jiu-Jitsu, the process of moving over here to the UK to train, his competitive career as a blue belt, purple belt, brown belt, before he became a black belt and won the worlds as a black belt, and then went on to move into no-gi and win multiple ADCC gold medals. One thing Braulio really went into was his rivalry with Jacare Souza. Him and Braulio competed against one another many times, and Braulio talked about the process of him losing to Jacare, winning the worlds when Jacare wasn't there, wanting to get that match against Jacare, wanting to beat him so badly, and basically willing into existence the opportunity to go against Jacare. The process of having to overcome paralysis, of a devastating neck injury in the lead up to his ADCC super fight with Jacare. That whole story is, to say it's incredibly inspirational, is not really doing it justice. I'll let Braulio tell it, and only from his mouth can the story really be told, given the gravitas that it deserves. Braulio also went into mindset a lot. His mindset as a competitor, his mindset, the power of belief, the law of attraction. He went into the philosophical side of things. This really was right up my street. It was everything that the Being Human podcast, the ethos of being human, is about. This was a sensational conversation, and we didn't even get to half the things that I had planned for us to talk about, so we'll have to do another one at some point. But for now, enjoy this conversation. If you do, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, drop a comment below, share it around on social media, and hit that subscribe button as well. And if you're on Spotify, hit those 5 stars. Let's get those ratings up. Thank you for watching, thank you for listening, and thank you for supporting Being Human. The Being Human podcast is brought to you by Mr. Bassett's Grappler Soap and Mr. Bassett's Grapplers Coffee. Mr. Bassett's is a fantastic brand. They are everything we're about here at Being Human. Natural quality goods that are made from the ground up. This soap is all natural. It's going to ensure you stay clean and fresh. It's going to ensure you keep those skin infections at bay whilst also taking care of your skin. It's not a chemical-based soap that's going to get rid of all the bad bacteria and the good bacteria with it. It's going to help your skin, help it repair and grow and flourish, and make sure you don't get ringworm and staph. Pretty good deal, right? And this coffee is going to get you supercharged for your training every day, so you can get more wrist locks on the mats. Another good deal, right? All you need to do to pick up a bag of this and to pick up a bar of this is to head to MrBassets.com and use the code WAG10 to get 10% off your order. That's WAG, all caps, 10 for 10% off your order. And now presenting Being Human with Braulio Estima. To start off, Braulio, take me back to the very beginning. What was your first experience training? I mean, it must be so long ago now, right?
Mm-hmm.
When did you start training?
Well, my dad put me in the judo when I was 9 years old. Having 2 kids now, I know why he put me there. You know, probably because of my ADHD, who knows. But yeah, that was the first experience. My dad previously, he did judo until, like the orange belt. So he experienced judo. I wanted to be a footballer, but he put me in judo. And, but there was no jiu-jitsu at the time. Right, judo was the only thing. In our state was very well known, especially for kids, for judo. So that was something that was pursuing. I had a lot of friends from the school that was representing the state in the national sports. So that was some direction of a dream that followed.
And there was a path there already with judo, but not yet for jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, not yet for jiu-jitsu. But then, when I was 11 years old, after 2 years training, my sensei, he died on an accident, on a crash, And then I lost a little, the motivation to train. I really liked him, and then I said, you know what, I'm gonna do something else. I was 11 years old, and then from 12 I started training football, like everyone in Brazil tend to do. And then after 4 years of pursuing to be a footballer, I got a little disappointed with the cliques. Football is a team kind of game, but it's a lot about the individual. And if everyone is not with the same mindset in the team as one, the team is not going to work as well. So with that disappointment with the experience, I said, you know what, I want to do something individual. I put a goal. If by 17 years old I'm not being called to the academy to play football, I would change sport. One thing is for sure, I want to be a sportsman. I always wanted to be an athlete, which was a challenge because I was the first grandson of both sides of the family, and everyone is very academic.
So all the pressure on you.
Pressure me to be who is going to be this aspired,
What did your parents want you to do?
To be honest, I was very focused on the academical from my family side. They wanted me to be something, get a degree, and my dad was a dentist. He's a dentist. My mom was a housewife, but at the same time had family, had dad, had uncles, had dad and had brothers, my uncles. They were very high up in the law. Like my granddad was a judge. My uncle, actually, now he's one of the most respected prosecutor, and beyond that, like that's the name in Portuguese, desembargador. He's pretty big in the whole country, and very smart. They wrote books, they wrote like many things, and that was the expectations, right? My dad's side, everyone dentist. My granddad was a dentist. My auntie was a dentist from my dad's side, and so there was pressure, but I didn't really felt fitting in the academic world. I had too much energy, and I always liked the idea of being a sportsman, especially with the circle of the friendship circle that I had, And when I became 16 years old, I saw people who are worse than me, like not much, like below average, going through the academies because they had connections. The parents had connections with the academy, and then they go. And I saw guys that was way better than me, not going through the academy because they didn't have a connection. I go, hold on a second. I don't have a connection. If for a lucky opportunity appear, clearly this guy will take the space. So I'm not gonna waste my time. I got a little frustrated that I at least that's on my mindset at the time. I was like, man, I'm giving my all here. Not everyone is giving our all. So we're not winning. We're not passing through the score sheet, and nobody's gonna see us. And I said, you know what, I'm gonna do something individual because if I lose, it's my fault. If I win, it's my merit. I put this. That was the mindset that I had.
You wanted it to be on you, on your shoulders.
Yeah, because at least I can handle. I would handle much better to not succeed, and I'm the one to blame, than I blame someone else that for me not achieving something. I had that in me already. So I decided to go back to judo because that was the reference that I had. So my best friend, who was in judo with me, one of my training partners, we were in the same school in college, in the same classroom in college. And then I said, hey, let's go back and train in judo again. Try to get a partner to train. And then he goes, bro, you need to check jiu-jitsu. By that time, I already have seen some of the fights of the UFC, the number 1, number 2, number 3, when Royce was winning. But then I associate jiu-jitsu with MMA. And I said, hold on a second, calm down. Let's go martial arts first. He goes, no, jiu-jitsu is not MMA. It's like judo, but on the ground. I said, really? Okay, I'll check this out. Because if it's that, what you're saying, I will use the jiu-jitsu to help my judo. Because I really want to pursue judo. And I had my first class, and I enjoyed it. And then I started training jiu-jitsu to help my judo. And then very soon, a few months later, I started training judo to help my jiu-jitsu. And then The rest is history.
What about your brother? Was your brother training with you at the time?
My brother, he's Victor. He's 4.5 years younger than me. When I started, I was 16 years old, and he was 13, 16, 12 and a half, or yeah, something like that, or 11 and a half. And he wasn't very interested in it. And even though I pushed him, but then took a while. He went there. He didn't really have a good experience because there's most people was my age, so he was the younger one. There was just a couple of people there that he could train. But then he stopped it, and then with time, I start pushing him. I already winning some tournaments as a blue belt, and he goes, "Oh, maybe I can do this as well." He was always being more academical than me. He was before he come to the UK. He was doing physiotherapy. I was doing production engineering back home for 3.5 years before I come to the UK. But yeah, so I did motivate him. My parents separated when I was 18. So I kind of took a little bit of a lead as a reference for my brother. Not that my dad wasn't a reference, because he always been very present, but we spent more time. My dad knows sleep no longer at home, so I took that a little bit of responsibility, and I felt like I could motivate him to do something. You know, the teenaging part, you go, you get lethargic, doing nothing, sleeping, chilling, and then I said, bro, come on, man, let's do something of your life. And then we start training, and here we go. And then appeared the opportunity to come here with a long story, but coming here through Roger Gracie, which is a very good friend of mine, and we were brown belts. Appeared the opportunity to come here to Birmingham, where Master Mauricio Gomez, who started Jiu-Jitsu here in the whole UK in Birmingham, he authorized Roger to bring me here, and if people liked it, I could stay. So I came, Roger was doing a seminar here because they were relocating to London. So when they started developing the Jiu-Jitsu in London, Birmingham stayed with a coach at the time. And then I took this opportunity. This was in 2002. Fast forward 2024, here, our second academy here in Birmingham, in Gracie Barra, Sutton. So yeah, it's good times.
How did that opportunity originally come about to come to the UK with Roger, with Mauricio? How long had you been training at that point, and how much competing had you done? Were you competing a lot? Were you winning a lot already at that point? What stage were you at?
Yeah, so basically, which is the opposite for a lot of people think, even though I'm Brazilian, in my state, there was no black belts that I could train with. The closest black belt was like 2 hours by and a half by plane, which was
by plane.
Yeah, by plane. It was far. So I developed a way of training with people the same level or lower level. I try to explore and improve. You know, of course, many times I went to Rio to compete. I remember that I lost my first 4 tournaments in the first fight. But I used to win in my town. But then, was it because I was good, or was it because there was no many, the level was low? You know, if I go to Rio, where like the IBJJF level, I couldn't pass one fight, you know, could I consider myself a champion then? But then I never give up. I had this in me to never give up and try to improve and try to do as good as it could be. And I remember having, because I really enjoyed the path. You know, even though my path was towards being a champion, because I'm a competitive person.
And that was immediately the mindset, right? When you started training from the beginning, you wanted to be world champion.
Yeah, not world champion even. I wanted to be a champion in my state. You know, I was very fortunate to set goals that achievable goals for me. You know, firstly, I wanted to be the best white belt in my category within the academy. Then I wanted to be the best white belt in the academy, right? Then I wanted to be the best white belt in my state, you know, and then blue belt in the same kind of mindset, the drive. So I started in 96. In 2000, 4 years later, 99, like 3 years later, there was an opportunity to go to fight the Pan American Championships as a blue belt. Up until then, nobody from my region could never won anything on the IBJJF. So I went to America, 18 years old, no English, zero English. I used to do Spanish in my school. And I traveled by myself for the first time to a different country, no speaking any English. Man, the number that I had to get in touch, to know where is the way in was going to be, the number is from Brazil office. When I landed in Miami to go and call them to find out where is the way, that was crazy. But it was an amazing adventure. And then I managed to win my first fight at the Panamas and ended up winning the whole tournament. This is as a blue belt. I think this was one of the best feelings that I ever had in competition. You know, because when you go to compete, what's the competition about? You go to test yourself, and you're going to be training or fighting against people on your same level, and everyone's trying to win, and then your same weight division, and then that's what you want to try to be the best one at the weekend. So I did for the first time, and I felt included in the crew of Rio de Janeiro, that where the mecca of jiu-jitsu was in my times. So I was like, wow, you know, like the feeling that, dude, I did it. Like, you know, I felt like when I won the world championship as a black belt, it's not much different than what I felt there, you know, because in the black belt, I was fighting people in the same level, black belts. Of course, the level above the white, blue, purple, and brown, but it's still fighting people at the same level. So the achievement of realization, like, you know, when you achieve something like that is equivalent for me. But the difference was, for the first time, I had it was like a big door on
That
the
was
end
your
of the
door of
tunnel.
opportunity opening for the first time.
Yeah, so I could see, oh, I actually am on the direction. So it was exciting because I see how much I could go, and I was on the right direction. You know, it's not like a conclusion feeling. It's more like I can do it. And then I use that to inspire everyone in my town, in my area, in my state. And then people start believing that they can also can, because up until then, nobody believed that they could beat people from Rio or other places in Brazil, because they felt that they were so far behind. And then me able to win it then was a good motivation. And of course, I learned, this is from blue belt, right? So with that mindset, I carried on the purple and the brown, and I got used to be the person to go there and explore the possibilities.
Trailblazer,
yeah,
the scout.
raise the possibilities. Like, how do I say? It's like you're going to see, you're going to go to explore this forest, but you don't know what kind of wild animals is there, you know. And you go there and what protection weapon shall I bring? What if there is lions? What if there is bloody snakes? What I don't know. Nobody's
been there,
right? So I start going like in the metaphor. I was bringing many times weapons to kill to protect yourself from a rhino, but there was no rhino. So I was just like wasting a lot of energy and time. And then, you know what, guys, come. You don't need nothing for against rhino. There's no, it's okay, cool, so I can be lighter. You know, guys, there is only monkeys and snakes. So you have little things to bring, right? So you can go with more confidence. So that's what I felt like. I was, in Portuguese, we say desbravador, like explorer, going there.
Oh, that's what bravado means in Portuguese.
Yeah, desbravador.
Bravado.
Yeah.
Explorer.
And you go there, and then I was kind of motivating people. And also, I had carried on the same mindset, and I kept the fire, motivating myself to lead that. And then by the time that I was a brown belt, I had won the Panams in a blue belt. I won Panams as a purple belt. I had won the Worlds. I closed with Professor Lucio Lagarto in the open weight in 2003. No, 2002. 2002 as a purple belt absolute. And then I got my brown belt. I got a brown belt. I think I won the Panams. Yes, I won the Panams. Weight in absolute as a brown belt. Then I lost at the Worlds, got third. And then I lost at the Brazilian Championships, got third. Hey, wait, sorry, I'm getting mixed up. Before I come here, I got third in Brazilian Championships as a brown belt. I just got my brown belt, got third, and that was when appeared the opportunity to come to UK. I didn't come through Roger or Mauricio. I came here really to explore.
Just off of your own initiative.
Yeah, so I wanted to see what's out there. You know, living in Brazil is not easy. You know, I was doing production engineering for 3.5 years, but I was doing more because of the diploma than so I can have a good job. Not because I really loved the course. There was an opportunity, then I didn't want to miss it. Then I got through Jiu-Jitsu, to be honest. I got half a scholarship for the Jiu-Jitsu, and I used to work a part-time to cover the other half. So with that, trying only purple, brown, and then got to the third in the Brazilian Championships. And my friend of mine who lived in London came to visit in that summer, and he goes, brother, you need to come and check Jiu-Jitsu, that's still developing. There's not much out there. And come and see what's happening. You can stay in my house. And I said, oh man, now let's go. I spoke to my dad, spoke to my mom. My goal was to come here for 2 months on the holidays, because our summer holidays is December and January, because it's our summer there. So Christmas, holiday, and the first class will start in February, like our September here in UK. So when I came prepared to wash plates, to do any jobs, and to be secure, whatever. And when the coincidence was, I didn't contact Roger about any of those. So when I got my ticket, I agreed with my dad, I agreed with my university that if I stay a little longer, if they could stop the university for 6 months, then I come back to carry on, just in case. I was being prepared for the worst. And then I called Roger when everything was set, and I said, hey, Roger, what's up? Hey, what's up, brother? He goes, listen, do you have any connection in London? Because I'm going next week to London. He goes, what? I am boarding right now to London. I go, what? Roger was a brown belt. I was a brown belt. We are best training partners, the hardest one for each other at the time, especially on our
So you'd already trained with Roger before?
Yeah, since blue belt I met him. Because as I said, I'm far away from town, from Rio. Not because I was special, just because I used to play how I could understand. And you can kind of complicate someone that's not used to your game. So me and Roger used to have very good scraps. And so when it happened, this opportunity, I called him and said, I'm going to be there. I said, man, that's going to be great. Perfect time. Like, imagine if on my mind, worst case scenario, I'm going to be 2 months there training with Roger. Like, that would be incredible. And then I came, and that's when he showed the opportunity. Look, there's an opportunity in Birmingham. You want to come and check? And then they liked it, so we're here. But we came here as a brown belt, and because I was used to train with lower level than me or people the same level, not many, because I was the first generation, not because I was the best, just because there's not many people to train. So there was like 16 people. Out of those 16 people, when we started, only one was a blue belt, you know. And then fast forward, you know, I became brown belt, and then there was even one like purple belt, blue belt, but never a heavy brown belt. So when I found out Roger's coming, that I'll be able to train with Roger, so that'll be great. So it'll be a good opportunity to pick my jiu-jitsu up even more. So that's when he said, brother, this is your opportunity. Do you want to take it? I said, check the weather. I don't care. Let's go. And I'm here.
So you get here, you're training with Roger here in Birmingham.
In London.
In London, first of all. Talk to me about the journey then to black belt, because you've come up from, you won the Pan Ams as a blue belt. You've done very well competitively, 3 blue, 3 purple, 3 brown. At what point did you get to black belt? And then obviously leading on from that, this was all gi, right? Were you just competing in the gi
at the time? Yeah.
Yeah, and then talk to me about the transition to no gi and ADCC, where you ended up doing very well.
There wasn't common to train no gi when I started.
It wasn't
There
popular.
wasn't a thing, no popular, especially where I was from. in Rio, there was the luta livre. There was a lot of rivalry between the Jujitsu and the luta livre people.
Luta livre was like the no-gi,
no-gi
MMA.
version. It's the no-gi version. They used to
like
do
Vale
MMA,
Tudo.
Vale Tudo stuff after. So when I came, I was very fortunate that it was already inbred in me, the mindset of developing myself regardless the condition that I was training. If I have good people to train with, great. If you don't, I'll figure out how to improve what I already know, exploring and improving myself with training people lower level than me. So when I came here, it's like restart everything again, like I started in Recife, because now I was a brown belt, and there was only like 2 or 3 blue belts in Birmingham that just got the blue belt. The rest was white belt. So it's like very similar. There were 16, 18 people, 2, 3 blue belts, everyone's white belt. And Roger in London had 1 purple belt that just got the purple belt, Jude Samuel at the time, and a couple blue belts, and then everyone else a white belt. So how the hell us as a brown belt came here, suddenly we go back and able to do it, right? So that was a transition. When the question I think is, when you start believing that you can actually do it, it took me a while. The belief was one of the things that came the last. And if I had it before, I would have done better earlier.
The belief that you could be
a
world
that
champion.
I could do. So the first time that I could believe that, what, I can actually do this was when for the first time in my life, I was able to just do jiu-jitsu. Before I had to work to pay half of the scholarship. I had to study for the university. I had to train jiu-jitsu. I had to do my homework. And I used to teach 2 or 3 times a week in the evening. So sometimes I had like a 5-hour sleep, overnight. So it was very intense. My day would start at 10 past 7, and finish at 12:30 in the midnight 30. So it's very, very intense. And then got to a point that I felt like that's when I fell through, like this opportunity appeared to come to London. Say, what, I'm gonna give it a try, and all I'm going to do is train. So when I came here, people I started training, and I decided to stay for 6 months, right? So within that, I came in the end of November, beginning of December, and in February there was a Pan American Championships in America. That was going to be my first Pan American Championship as a brown belt. I got third in the Brazilian Championships. So this time, man, for the first time I woke up, train, work out for the first time. I never worked out, bench presses or whatever, do some conditioning and then training, teaching, and go once every 2 weeks or once a week, go to almost every 2 weeks for the tournaments, go and train with Roger, come back. And I'm still not sure how good I'm gonna be in my career. But when I went to the Pan Ams, it was like, man, one of my best tournaments that I ever had, and training mostly with white belts and blue belts.
Wow.
As a brown belt.
Yeah.
But I was only focused on that. So my timing was on it because when I'm teaching, I was always trying to teach to make my students to become a big challenge for me, to be real. And then my time was good. People here started getting to know my game, and I was still getting them anyway. I said, oh man, I feel good. And I went to California. For the first time, I felt jet lag. Never felt jet lag in my life. It's horrible. Still feeling it nowadays. And I went and I won weight in absolute division. I won in the Pan Ams. And all the 7 fights together, combined, it was 5 minutes and 24 seconds. So basically it was an average 40-something seconds per fight. So after that, I go, okay, I think I can do this. And then I started believing it. And then, I got, I think, second in the World Championships as a brown belt. And then I got my black belt in January in 2004.
Who gave you your black
Carlos
belt?
Gracie Jr. And then at the Pan Ams, I got second in the black belts in February. And then in July, I won my first World Championships as a black belt. So, and then was like, keep going up, But that's when it was like the time, like I feel like, you know what, now I think I can. It's after the Panams as the Pan American of 2003. That was the time. It was 2 months after I arrived here. 2.5 months.
So you got your black belt, won the Pan Ams as a black belt.
Got second on the Pan Ams.
Second.
And won the Worlds.
And won the Worlds. At this point, I mean, that's kind of like the mountain conquered, right? Like, talk to me. Did it mean a lot to you to get your black belt? How much of, like, did that feel like the end of the journey or a certain milestone, or again was that like a door now to what's now open to you beyond that?
Yeah, for example, remember when I said about putting realistic goals? Firstly, I wanted to be the white belt that was the best in my weight division within my academy, to then thinking about be the best in my state. And then this mindset was always on me. I wanted to be the best in what I can grasp on. And if I do it, what's next? What's next? What's next? Funny enough, when I won the Worlds as a black belt, Jacare, which I had fought already twice, he had beat me twice. He had tapped me twice already. He wasn't in the finals. So I became a world champion, but Jacare wasn't there. So I go like, I'm a champion, but am I? You know what I mean? I got the title. I got the respect, you know, for the consistency. I managed to submit the current world champion that year at the Panams, which was Casio Werneck, amazing guy. I'm going to submit him in the Pan American Championships, and he was a current black belt world champion. You know, because our generation came like, whoa, you know. But then Jacare beat me in the final of the Panams, and now I am fighting the world championships, and I became a world champion, but Jacare didn't fight the final. So I was like, even though I didn't feel a world champion inside me, but at the same time, I felt that I belonged there. Hold on a second, I've been in the finals, in the world championships as a black belt. So my motivation was how I want to be even better. I want to improve, because for me, when I got my black belt, I didn't feel like a black belt. It took me a couple of years until maybe 3 years for me to think, because I was very picky on me. I was like, I would like to be the black belt that once I was a blue belt, I was inspired to be. And then when I got my black belt, I go, am I the black belt that I would like to inspire myself? I don't feel like it, you know? So it took me a while, 3 world championships finals. So, you know what, actually I am a black belt. I feel good. So the second year in 2005, I went to compete. So I won the 2004. Jacare wasn't there. So I went to 2005. Jacare was there. So we met at the final again. And I lost by points. So I keep thinking, am I the champion? You know,
he's like the boogeyman.
He's like my shoe, my rock on my shoe. And in 2016, I won. But Jacare didn't enter. You know? So, but at the same time, I beat all my opponents.
You can only beat who's there, right?
Yeah. So, but still was there. And that's how it was my circle. I had fought Jacare for 4 times, 2 submissions for him, second by points, second closer match, but by points, but I never scored a point on him. So I was like, man, am I a 2 times world champion? No, I'm 1, you know, in 2006. 2007, I didn't compete. 2008, I did my surgery on my knee 4 months before the World Championships.
Which surgery?
On MCL, on my knee. It was an accident. And I went to compete at the Worlds. I could even move. I can even touch my heel on my butt. Like it was like completely stiff. But I was inspired by Ronaldo, the phenomenon in football. I remember that he did a surgery on his knee 4 months before the World Cup and still become a world champion and the best player.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I was inspired by him. So I can do this. I can do this. If he can do, why can't I? We'll make it happen. Got to the final, but lost to Andre Galvão. And then I start improving my knee, and then that was my rise. And that's when I carried on, and 2009 came, and then it was my first main tournament. It's a friend of mine, Zaid, right? He contacted me out of nowhere. He goes, Braulio, because he was married at the time with the Princess of Jordan, right? Okay. He acts like a royal there. And he goes, Braulio, look, I'm making this tournament here on the Middle East, and it's going to be incredible. It's for the first time was going to be money involved. And then the winner going to get 20,000, you know, you're going to come here, get the best hotels, you know, we're going to bring you to Petra. It's going to be nice to see you. It's going to be easy for you. Come here. And I go, oh man, am I already with that kind of, you know, having some treats? That's awesome. I'll go. Hey, but who is that? Don't worry, man. It's going to be easy. You're going to win. I said, okay, you know, let's go. And then I go to the plane, and then he sent me, I asked him, hey, send me the brackets because I want to get into the mode. When I look at it, there was like two times absolute champions there. There was like world champions. I said, thank you, Zay. Thank you very much.
Nice and easy.
No, man, no,
lots
no.
Of
It was be a
sunshine.
walk on the park. God. But then I ended up winning. I won. And for the first time, I made money in Jiu-Jitsu. That was like I was 2008. I was 28 years old. I competed and I made money. I said, wow. And that boosted my confidence so much, you know. And then by this time, I wanted to be in 2007, right? When I didn't compete at the Worlds, just before my surgery, I competed the ADCC. And
that was your first ADCC?
That was my second one.
Second one.
My first one, it was in 2005, okay, when Roger did the Tap TV one.
Yeah.
Right. And coming back to, we're talking about the no-gi, my very first time I trained no-gi was on that trip to the Pan Ams as a brown belt. On the way back, I stopped in New York and experienced no-gi. That's how I want to get to see the Renzo Academy there, because Renzo was Gracie Barra at the time, represent part of it. Not he was his Gracie Academy, but he was linked to the Gracie Barra. So a lot of Gracie Barra's athletes used to go there and train. Roger, a big dog, his name is Cachorrão, was Ricardo Almeida, and it was very strong in no-gi there. And then I trained for the first time, and I didn't feel weird. Of course, missing the grips, but you know, I had a very good fundamentals with the grips, and it helped me to see where I should be position myself. And then that was the first time. And then in 2005, this was 2003, the first Jiu-Jitsu no-gi training. I was already a brown belt. And then when in 2005, Roger in 2003, he fought the ADCC. He was invited to compete in the ADCC in São Paulo in Brazil. We already here, see, like we training together, helping him training, and he went there as a brown belt and got third in the in beating Zé Mário. You know, it's like, wow, like, man, I want to do this too, but I never got invited. I couldn't go to Brazil's trials because of my visa situation here. So in 2005, I went to watch Roger fight, so I helped him in training, and then he went to compete the year that he beat everyone. And then while I was in the crowd, the guy in Evans, which is the guy that was dealing with the ADCC, he was Braulio, someone got injured, warming up. Do you want to come in? I said, yeah. So I came out of but they put me above weight division. They put me under 99 kilograms.
Oh, wait,
I was
so
80 kilograms.
This was the 2005?
2005, yeah.
And you were in the crowd there just to watch Roger, and literally like that, you get called up to go onto the mat.
Because I've been pestering him. Like, listen, can I fight? And you're standby, but I already lost hope. When I got injured, I said, what? Yes, but I wasn't trained. You know, actually I fought the Brazilian champion, and then I got him in a number, bro, honestly, I gave everything. I said, it's mine. Whoa! The arm straight, that's a beautiful picture. Everyone thinks I tapped him. I didn't tap. I came off because he has double joint. The guy don't tap. I said, no way. Vitor Viana, his name. And then after that, I spent all my energy. Then he It passed my guard. Mom, he took me back, it choked me, and I was on my bed. But then I made my debut, which was a dream for me because the first time that I heard of ADCC, it was when I was in Recife in 98. So I had 2 years in Jiu-Jitsu, 97 to 98. And then the first time that when the ADCC came about, it was very much like that movie Bloodsport. You get the invitation and you go to the Middle East and you're going to fight in front of the sheikhs. They used to do the bettings like between themselves. Sorry. And they had the white mats and there was the music, and it was all over the jiu-jitsu news in Brazil, in magazines, and this guy is fighting and making a lot of money in the Abu Dhabi, and man, imagine if one day I could actually fight this tournament. That was a dream. I was only a blue belt. And then fast forward, I had this opportunity. I didn't fight. I said, well, yeah, lost, but I did it. Maybe next year, 2005, and then 2007, there was a chance because I already been there, right? So I did I went to the trials in Europe, in Sweden, and I tapped everyone, but I'm Brazilian. So the trials didn't work at the time for me. So I couldn't make to Brazil because it was too expensive for me to go, no sponsors. And then I was training with Roger for the 2007 one, but I wasn't sure if I was going to compete or not. It's horrible when you're not sure if you're going to compete.
The uncertainty.
Because when okay, that is a deadline. You're going to compete and you're going to perform on that specific day. Then when you don't want to train, you're still going to force you to train.
You're locked in.
Yeah, the good and the bad, let's go. There's a goal to reach. But if you don't have, and then the first thing comes to your mind is like, but what if you don't fight again? I'm not sure. Okay, let's go. Train, but not very hard. And then he gave me, within 2 weeks in advance, he told me that I was going to fight.
So even though you won the European trials,
but it doesn't count because I'm Brazilian.
Because you were Brazilian.
Yeah.
And I mean, they're not the rules now. Like anybody can go to trials anywhere.
I don't know how the rules were, but at the time you had to be playing the trial because too many Brazilians would be going to different. And only Brazilians would go. But now
it'd be an all-Brazilian ADCC.
Exactly. So then what happened was there was a much higher chance that I was going to fight, but not on my weight division still. So I was training, but I was 88 kilograms, but they put me under 99 again. 2 weeks in advance, it was guaranteed. I said, let's go. So I was training more. So I went to compete, and I competed against big guys, but I managed to submit major competitors, and I lost in the final against Xande Ribeiro, and that fight was considered the fight of the tournament. I got a prize for that as well, so it was awesome, I said, so that definitely stamped the passport for me for 2009. Because every 2 years, right? So 2009, I would definitely want to fight on my weight division, And then on the first session for this camp, for 2009 camp, I won the Panams in the gi, as a black belt. I won the Worlds in the gi. And now we shift for the no gi to fight September. In the first training session, me and Roger training, he's supposed to be fighting the main event, which was the winner of the absolute division of 2007. And he won the super fight of that 2007 against John Love. So Roger won the super fight, classified for the super fight in 2009. Drysdale beat Marcelo Garcia in the final of 2007, is fighting Roger Gracie in the finals of 2009. I gonna be for the first time guaranteed to fight in the ADCC, so I'm making a full camp to fight my weight division, which is under 88 kilograms. On the first session training with Roger slips on the wet mat, twists his knees, and then he's out of ADCC. I felt bad, and then within a week, they announced who's going to replace Roger. Guess who it is? Jacare. I go, my chance to prove myself that I can call myself a world champion, because I have been, few times world champion, but Jacare wasn't fighting.
Jacare was in the back of your head
All the
still.
time, all the time. And then, but calm down. Before you classify yourself to fight Jacare, first of all, he needs to win the fight. Second, you need to do a very good performance on your weight division and hope that you'll be invited to fight the absolutes, and you need to win the absolute. But I said, man, I'll focus on my weight division, like in the goals, right? Let's focus on my weight division. After that, then absolute. Jacare is not going to happen this year. If it happens, it will happen. And then that's what what a performance. That was an amazing performance. I thought most people. That's when it was the first Estima lock, the first inverted triangle. You know, I was the only person who submitted in the final against Edgar Gavão. And then I put my name down for the absolute. They said no. They said no. We already have some other representative of Gracie Barra that's heavier than you, and you're not gonna go. I said no. Bro, listen, it's my time. Like, look, I'm in shape. I'm fresh. I submitted the most of my opponents, 3 out of 4. And, you know, first Estima, I didn't say that, but that was like, the Estima lock was that. It's vertical triangle.
Amazing finale against Andre.
Yeah, and then I go, oh, I want to fight. I'm right. And I spoke to the organizer. I said, please, come on. I said, hold on a second. They make a vote between me and Paddy Plano. They vote to me. Paddy Plano got 3rd at the time on his weight division. So they put me in. I said, oh, now it's time. And then that's when I tapped Marcelo Garcia, Shandy in the final, and ended up being the absolute division and category champion, the best fighter of the tournament, and then guaranteed fight in the super fight in 2011. But then there's Jacare has to win now. So as soon as I finished, I went to watch the super fight. I went to the top of the stadium and I'm like, come on, Jacare, come on. I was supporting him, and then he won. He beat Drysdale, and then that's guaranteed now. We're going to be fighting Jacare in 2011 in September in Nottingham. The new ADCC was going to be in Nottingham. Then, in 2010, 1 year before the ADCC, I was training MMA with Andre Wiener, at the Roof House. And then I went to take it down. He countered, and I fell on my head, and I got tetraplegic. My whole world gone. And then the first thing that I had in mind was my kids. I pick up my kids. The fight against Jacare. My God. I cannot believe I'm completely tetraplegic. And then slowly, with time, I start feeling my tinglings and start going up the hips. Past the hip, I go, at least I can action. Thank God. I can no more, but it's okay.
If I can't do Jujitsu, at least I can do that.
And then my left arm took 3 months to come back. It was a nightmare. All the doctors said that no chance for surgery, come back to sport. And then the 4th doctor spoke to Mr. Hamelin. He's an amazing spinal surgeon and based in London. And he said that because my problem was I had 2 discs. And if you fused 2 discs, the chances of injury of the top discs and below is very high. So there was new technology from Germany that the disc is a little bit mobile. So he was doing it, and he said, "Listen, I already put someone back to the league in rugby." I said, "I like it." So we made the arrangement, and then I said, "Okay, what's going to happen?" Cool. So the injury was in June. I managed to see the right doctor after the 4th attempt in December. But look how it is. See, look, the first one said, no chance. If you want to be an athlete, you can even play golf. You have to play darts. I said, cry. And again, say. The 4th one is possible. Very similar mindset when I was losing 4 times when I went to compete in the Worlds or the IBJJF, losing the first fight and do it again until I went to the Panams and I managed to win. Similar mindset. I already have built that in me for my own experience. So when the doctor said, you can, and he said, look, you cannot do nothing for the first 2 months. The first 4 months, and after these 2 months is rehab. So it's 4 months without training jiu-jitsu. Then you're going to have 4 months and you can train as much as you want. I said, okay, cool. So I made the calculation, and surgery was in January. So 4 months later, 2 months rehab, then 2 months, and I would have only 4 months for the fight, for the main fight against Jacare. So injury, June 2010. Surgery that I managed to do in February 2011. So that's already a gap of not training fully, right? I was doing some training, but not using my neck. And now I have 8 months for the fight from the surgery, but the 4 first months, I'm not training jiu-jitsu. Now I have 4 months to get back, be better than I was being, to fight a guy that I don't even score a point in my past.
Who had been training this whole time.
Who's been training the whole time. And then I went there and I beat him. You know, so probably this is one of the most, like, one of my stories that I feel very proud, because
it's an incredible story.
It's because it's to prove that if you really believe in something and do what it takes, the universe conspires to happen. You know what I mean? I like wanted so much, and every day I was thinking about that. I remember there was no social medias, but I was filming myself before the surgery. That's how much I was like visualizing everything, you know. And if I did that, anybody can do anything if they really have that state of mind, you know, the belief, the work ethic, you know, with the values. And I believe that once you have good values, the universe gives you opportunities, you know, the same way that the opportunity that I had to come here to the UK for the first time, you know, what a coincidence, eh? Like, Roger, I'm going to UK. Wait, I'm boarding now to London. I said, what? What are the chances, right? I must have been doing something right towards that point that the universe gave me this opportunity, you know?
The law of attraction, God's plan, whatever you want to call it.
It happens. It's all about that, you know, and then look, your intentions, you know, are very sacred to you, and you cannot, nobody will never know what your real intentions are. They can see the result of your actions, but the real intentions, nobody's going to be 100% sure, but you will, you know. Even sometimes you have the idea of doing something with bad intentions, and sometimes works out for whatever you did, and the person, oh man, thank you very much, you go, fuck, you know, I didn't intend to do that, but you know, the person might not know, but you know. You know, the same way goes around to the other side.
The road to hell's paved with good intentions.
Exactly. You have to,
you know, at least you know where it came from.
That's
it. It came with the best intentions.
The best intentions, but every actions. You know what I mean? And because the intentions are the only thing that only you and the universe knows. Only you and the universe knows. Like, you know, before you go to bed, before you go to sleep, you know what you've done, and you know the intentions of everything that you've done. You know, when you start kind of self-introspective, try to auto-analyze, you start to understand that if you have good intentions on what you do, even sometimes doesn't work, and people might think you had bad intentions, but you are honest to yourself, you know that, so it's not on you, you know. And then the universe, what happens to give you the opportunities, for example, you know, winning the World Championships 2004, when Jacare wasn't there. But maybe I deserve to have that title, to give me a little bit of a boost or a little push that, okay, now I have some title, so I can maybe achieve things and have more credibility and get more confident. But still, I knew that I wanted to beat him, so I wanted to be better, you know. And then those situations, like the chances that when I was training Roger, he got injured, suddenly goes, oh shit, you cannot go, Roger, but Jacare, go on. And then now, Braulio, all you wanted is this, right? Let's go. I'll give you this opportunity. And then you go, boom, tetraplegic. How much you want? And then you go, I'll make it. No, but the doctor said no. I'll get another doctor. The doctor said no, I'll get another doctor. said, no, I'll get another doctor. They'll say, it's possible, okay.
Until you get the yes.
Until you get the yes. And if I didn't have, I would be thinking about until today. The same way that if I never won the World Championships, I would be trying until I could, And one thing that I remember, in my generation from Recife, I would hate to be, I even mentioned, I would hate to be 40 years old. I'm 44 now. I would hate to reach 40 and looking back think, man, if I carried on, do you think I could have done it? I wouldn't be able to live with myself. I would be very frustrated,
You'd have to live with that regret for the rest of your life.
So I'd rather regret something that I've done than something that I didn't do, So then this mentality was building towards my journey in Jiu-Jitsu. And it was proving right, that mindset, with little actions and little results and little coincidence. And you go, damn, And when that got it, managed to fulfill my personal challenge, and then I could then, I consider myself one of the best, in Jiu-Jitsu, which wasn't only my only goal. I wanted to be a world champion when I could be, Then I became, but then I couldn't call myself a world champion because Jacare wasn't there. But then got to the universe conspired in a way that happened, and I managed to beat in a 30 minutes war. Yeah, I am. I'm cool with that, And with that gave me the Hall of Fame, for the ADCC. And to be honest, in terms of my personal goal, I achieved way more than I ever dreamed of. You know what I mean? And in 2009, actually, when I won my weight division, absolute, when I in the triangle there, and the Estima lock and the final against Shande, that I got the best fight of the year, I was a little without ground, like, and what's next? Because before, up until then, I was pursuing to get there. So every time that I won a world championships, Jacare wasn't there, so I need to get better. Maybe I got to score a point. He scored me a point. And then I won, Jacare wasn't there, but I could have tapped all of the fights, missed one fight. So there was always something to improve. And in 2009, when I won everything, it was almost impeccable. I tapped all the best in the world, the legends in the world, in style. Not much more you could do. Not many people did that ever in the history. And I felt like, and what's next? You know what I mean? Like, I felt a little
lost.
I would say, like, I expected a more fulfillment. You know what I mean? I think I was expecting, like, when you go up on stage in a video game, because then I go, so, wow. Now but I'm still the same person as yesterday. My mom, my dad live in the same spot. They have the same problems. I have my same problems. I have my challenges. The world doesn't change upside down. And I am now. Yesterday I was passing on the lobby. Nobody was wanted to have an interview with me, but now everyone's lining up to have an interview. But I'm the same guy, and it was that kind of conflict that was happening. Then I don't regret it because that was one of my dreams, right? But then it's what you do with it that I think start changing. I start thinking it cannot be just about that. Doing that is great, but it's it's all about me, right? It's for me, not for how you say, fighting for my country. No. It's for you.
It was for you.
Everyone does that. You say, oh man, I'm fighting for my country, bro.
We make up narratives, don't we? We make up reasons to motivate us, but at the end of the day, we want to do it. It's within us.
It's for you. And then what I felt a little weird was that I got there, of course, with my own initiative, my own hard work, with my network of training, people giving themselves to train with me, and because jiu-jitsu is an individual sport, but you needed a body to train with, you know. And I had many people that was put themselves on the line for me, and of course I was taking the most advantage possible, so my self-improvement. And I got there, and it was all about me. I felt a little, something is missing here, you know. That was the fulfillment that you know, like I felt that when you get there, you are the best of the whole year, and everyone is coming together. It was weird. It wasn't like that. Everyone was happy, but it's like very about me. And it was the beginning of my transition. It's got to be more than that. That's when I start like transiting to help people develop themselves for themselves, and also considering the point that it's not only about that, you know, because my journey, like we spoke in the beginning was everything was competition. I wanted to be a champion on the state, regional, in the country, in the world, the Panams, then in all the belts, and now I wanted to be the best in the world as a black belt because I can now. I can reach, you know. I never knew I was going to be a world champion as a black belt when I was a blue belt, purple belt, or brown belt. I wasn't sure. You know, I felt too far away to even think about it because I have so much to deal with my pot here. And when I got there, I started like, okay, I need to reevaluate a few things, because my goal was always be what I just became. And if I don't feel 100% fulfilled, something is missing. I need to find another mountain to climb, right? But that was a very hard motivation for me, because I felt like, okay, what's next? There's nobody that I aim to put to test, because
You'd conquered everything that you wanted to, right?
So then I started going for the MMA, and that's when I got injured as well. And MMA becomes like, I felt like the responsibility of being the best grappler in the world to go and represent my art within the MMA. Because at the time, there was no many black belts that was doing well in Jiu-Jitsu in MMA. Not in doing well in MMA representing Jiu-Jitsu. So I took I'm going to take this ship, the flagship, and then let's do it. So I tried. By the time that I competed in MMA, I competed after 2011 because I got the injury, so I come back ADCC, and then I fought in MMA. I had one experience, you know, I managed to meet the opponent. By the time, there were already so many other, like Demi Maya, Jacare himself, like so many people well represented. I said, okay, they're good. MMA is not something that I enjoying to the max.
And you injured your neck again, right? Preparing for your fight.
Yeah, and I injured again because I just took it like I'm 100% zero, like nothing happened to me. And I'm injured now, and I'm doing actually with my therapist here. Alessandro is treating me pretty much better, but I want to consider to do another surgery, and then that I'm not going to be more professional fighter, but I'll be able to live my life doing what I love, which is using jiu-jitsu as a tool to help people to become a better version of themselves. At the time, I learned throughout that journey with the goal to become the best, because that was my focus. By doing it, I've learned that's not only about that. Okay, it's great. If you go back in time, I'll do the same. But it was an eye-opener for me, because you can use jiu-jitsu as a tool with different purposes. My purpose was being the best, but you can be a purpose to be a giver, like I wanted to be a teacher, I want to create champions, or I just wanted to defend myself, or I want to socialize, or I want to
build confidence
about myself. You know, I want to know how to defend myself. I want to stand for myself. You know, because when you are confident, I've always been very confident. That's why I was competitive. But there's so many people that don't even consider competition. So that means that you're gonna waste this opportunity to self-development through jiu-jitsu just because the only option is to be a champion. Because when I started, for you to live out of jiu-jitsu, you need to be the champion, which is not the case now. You know, if you know the art, you can enjoy that life of being a old school owner or a professor, you can contribute to the dream of others. Some people dreams to be a champion, some other dreams to be able to bring their family abroad and not be afraid of being, you know, uh, approached by anybody. I would be surprised how many people are considered many times before they go to the to talk to someone on the shop or to ask how much is this. A lot, because when you don't have that issue, you don't think about it. But there's so many people don't have the confidence even to talk to a stranger, you know. And then so many times in my journey, by trying to become a champion, I had to make a living, and to make a living, I had to teach. And by teaching, I taught with everything that I could, because I wanted the people to be at the hardest training for me. And it was by this exchange of giving back and appreciating each other, I learned so much about my own jiu-jitsu. And I've seen people who came through the doors, step on the mats that wouldn't even open up the mouth, so scared or not confident at all. And then today, being a person that jokes back and forth to people and be able to socialize, this for me is incredible. You see a kid that introverted, that stay in school, being bullied or being excluded in school, and you come here, they automatically included from the first time you walk in. And you have people in different levels accepting and being part of the family, and you can see already the boost of it. Oh, actually I matter, but they still may not even thinking about being a world champion. But maybe if the goal was to stand for themselves on the process, they might think, you know what, I think I can. Who knows? You decide, and that's what became part of my mission. Use my story to give people a compass that it is possible to whatever you decide. If you really have a goal and you do whatever it takes towards the goal, by make mistakes or not, because you gotta have the intentions to achieve. Master Carlos Senior said, in Jiu-Jitsu, you never lose in Jiu-Jitsu. Either you win or you learn. Yes, but it depends on the intention. If you have the intention to win, that's when you realize when you make a mistake. Because if you don't have intention to win, you don't know when you made it wrong. Right? So the intentions I'm very big on intentions now.
You need the North Star. You need a compass, right?
Yeah. And the intention to reach. What's the point you have the compass and I just go any direction anyway? You have the intention to go north, and I cannot go that direction. How can I figure out a way around to get there still? Has a big block. What do? Can I break through? I still have okay. How far to the right or to the left can I go and to be able to go around? If you got to figure it out, and that's the intentions of to keep going and be smart to figure out the best direction. And I believe that in the universe, kind of a metaphor, I believe that person who tried to go to the north and has a big mountain, and you don't give up because you really have the intention to go through. You try to go up, doesn't go to the left. Suddenly you see, oh, there's this little hollow hole here, and you say, oh, look, because you never stopped searching. If you said, it's too big, I'm going back, you're never going to see that little hollow part because you're not searching for it. You don't have the intention to go through anymore. I believe like that. Sometimes you maybe try to go up there and it's lead away and you fall, poof, and you feel the hollow. Oh, Jesus, I just found the hollow because once I tried to go and it fell, and the universe goes, bro, here. That's how.
It's like a trap door, isn't it?
Yeah.
A trap door.
I'm trying to just kind of give a little metaphor for how it happened to me. Because the doors were opening, but there's many doors that was closed. But I never stopped trying to find a door or try to open the door.
One thing you said that instantly struck a chord with me is that you would rather regret something you did than regret something you didn't do.
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking about your injury before we started the podcast, and you said when it happened, immediately you felt like your body was someone else's, and that you asked me, have you ever been robbed of an item, a possession that you hold dear to you, and you were trying to draw a comparison, and you said it was so difficult to put into words, but I think that was a great way of putting it, or at least it gave me an idea of what that moment, what that period was like for you. The question I thought at the time when you said that was there any thought in your mind of, I don't want to be robbed of this, like, thank God I have got my body back? Was there any hesitation of, I'm done, I don't want to train?
No chance.
No chance. No hesitation.
No. The first thing that came to my mind was, oh my God, it happened to me. It's like I lost it. It actually happens. It's over, right? I cried in desperation, and I couldn't even control my breathing. My diaphragm was automatically as a talk, and at the moment, it's over. I'm never going to be the dad that I've always wanted to be. I'm never going to be able to train or be able to fight against Jacare that was already booked, But then I start feeling the tingling, the numbness on the edge of my toes. A lot of people mistake of a dead arm of being paralyzed. That's nothing to do with being paralyzed. Paralyzed is like zero. It's like
there's no numbness.
If I'm touching your hand now, imagine how it feels. You don't feel nothing, do you? If I touch your hand, like imagine this is your hand. That's the feeling that I had when someone's touched my own body. It's like someone else's.
It's not like a numb pins and needles.
It's like someone else's arm. But then it starts slowly and past my hip, and I was very grateful that I could walk, and without walking, but I knew I could aim there. And then my arm goes to the left arm, take a while, 24 hours without moving at all. And then I left walking with my left arm very limited. But yes, I was so grateful that I could actually be a dad, the dad that I wanted to be. And then when I start doing some specific training, because I was addictive, and but I wouldn't had no option that I wouldn't train.
It wasn't an option to you. If you were able to, you were going to train.
I would figure out.
You were going to beat Jacare.
Yeah, I'll figure out a way, and I was even considering fighting, even with the bad neck, if there was no surgery anyway. But then I wouldn't have the best chances, So, yeah, that was because I had already in my head that when you put something in your mind, I managed to achieve by believing it, that it's possible, even when people didn't. I grew up thinking that, listen to people, what's the point to even put effort in Jiu-Jitsu? When you get to the black belts, you're going to be fighting the guys that is already a world champion many times. How are you going to, come on, man, wake up, you're going to do that? I said, I'll try. I'd rather try and see by my own head, by myself, and then you're telling me that I can't, and I don't even try. And I was proving them wrong. And nowadays, a lot of people who actually could have the potential to be what I did, they don't even know if they could, because they didn't try. So yeah, that was in me. Could be a little reckless out of me. Yeah, who could? But the biggest lesson for me was when I beat Jacare. Then it was, I even mentioned straight away, I interview with a Budo Jake straight away from the mats. And then I go once again, I prove to people that is not what people tell you. It's what you tell to yourself. Because people will motivate you. But if you don't tell you that you can, doesn't matter if people go say you can do, but you say, can I? I'm not sure. The same way it goes down, man. There's no chance he's gonna do that. It's about what I tell myself. You know what I mean? Many people are telling me, brother, man, no, don't do it, don't do it. And I go, okay. And some people, Braulio, you choose. And some others, man, it's easy. You're gonna do. You're gonna kill us. Not so easy, you know. So it's like it doesn't matter what people tell you. What you tell yourself. That is what really stuck to me on that specific journey. You know, I was really telling myself, visualizing. I remember every training, you know, and I was like, everything that happened in the fight, it went through my head, you know. I was prepared for the worst case scenario. What if I couldn't take him down? What would be the plan B or plan C? What if things was completely against me? I would have an answer because I had been visualizing that for all the year, you know. So that's what it is, you know. I usually say when I teach, you know, if you know something and you don't apply, the result is the same of the person that don't know. If you don't apply, the result is the same as zero, right? And then if you know something and you apply, it's good. But when you know something and you apply with belief, that is another monster. That is another monster. Even sometimes with the belief, you do something, you know, even so fully right, but you believe so much that end up being right. You know what I'm saying? So the belief is the most important thing to fire. You know, it took me a while to have the feeling because I wasn't never confident because I was complex about being from Recife, wasting a lot of time training with people that not necessarily has the same high level, you know. And then when I was going to fight people with name, people full of patches, I go, man, oh my God, the guy must be good. Look how many patches he has. Until I touch him, go, what? Okay. And he start like believing. And I remember Carlos Gracie Jr. was telling him, bro, he was a professor at the time, and we used to call him Carlinhos. Carlinhos. He goes, hey, man, how are you? Feeling good? I said, oh, man, it's going to be tough, man. I have that guy in the competition, that my weight division, that one. He goes, brother, who is going to beat you? And I go, that's Carlos Gracie Jr. asking me. And I go, yeah? Yeah, who? Yeah, you're right. So I was like, he is having belief in me more than I believe in myself. You know what I mean? That's why I was worried about them. I said, bro, you know what? Carlos Gracie Jr. is believing me. Why I don't believe in myself? You know what I mean? And then I start believing myself. And then I start acting like with more belief. And then I start applying this in all the minimum little situations. And then it became another monster. You know?
You had such a strong rival in Jacare to motivate you. But what's been apparent to me as you've told this story is most people, when they have a rival, I'm a massive John Jones fan, so the one that automatically comes to mind is John Jones versus Daniel Cormier. That was a bitter rivalry. And I think with them, they were probably motivated to beat the other one. They were motivated by their hatred of the other one. They weren't motivated so much. Maybe it's hard to go into their minds. You know, I know John Jones thinks about his legacy and greatness a lot, being in the position he is. But it seemed to me like they were very motivated in that rivalry to beat the other person rather than to win themselves. But you telling that story, as much as Jacare, you know, you focused on beating Jacare, it seems to me that the motivation wasn't so much you wanted to beat Jacare so you could beat Jacare. You wanted to beat Jacare
so prove myself that I belong.
So you in yourself felt fulfilled as a world champion.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great mindset to have when it comes to rivalries, because we need rivalries, right? We need people to look to and go, I need to, you know, I don't know if I can beat you, but I want to beat you and I need to beat you.
Yeah.
But then not letting that turn into animosity and not letting it become about beating that person. Because it's not about beating that person, it's about you becoming who you need to be in order to beat that person.
Exactly. And to be honest, it's not Braulio versus Jacare, right? Because if it's Braulio versus Jacare, I could get him on, let's play poker, Braulio versus Jacare. Or let's see whoever tell small jokes. Braulio versus Jacare.
Or an arm wrestle. Or
arm
just
wrestle.
come in the gym
sprint,
and have a roll.
Yeah. It's about my expertise in what I do is Jujitsu. Right? That's what I'm a professional at. And he's professional at Jiu-Jitsu. So it's about my Jiu-Jitsu against his Jiu-Jitsu. You know what I'm saying? It's not me versus him. And all I wanted was to feel that my Jiu-Jitsu is good enough to be within that stage that I've been put because I've won so many times. Therefore, Braulio is a champion. Braulio Jiu-Jitsu is good. He's world class, one of the best in the world of all times. And I go like, but I got the title because Jacare wasn't there. If Jacare was there, I probably wouldn't have that title. You know what I'm saying? Therefore, I'll just be okay, but not considered the best jiu-jitsu of the weight division.
And so it wasn't just about you as well. You were almost detached from it. It was about your jiu-jitsu, your skill, the art of it.
Yes.
It wasn't just about you as a person. It was about the skills that you were carrying with you.
And therefore, you become throughout, right? Where, like I was, Jim Carr I was watching, my wife sent me, it was a very nice quote that he says that, because I do say a lot, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. He says that it's neither the destination or the journey, but who you become in the journey, you know? But the reason that I say that it's about the journey is so you can be present in what you are doing, and the destination becomes the consequence. Keep focusing. If I was a blue belt, purple belt, wanted to be a world champion as a black belt, it's like too far away. You know what I mean? Focus on your level and be better than yesterday. Focus on the level, be better. Don't try to skip, you know, because then you can mix up on the way. So it's about the journey, and by applying the journey with that mindset of being better every day, consequently, you become what you should become on the process, you know?
That makes me think about a quote. I can't remember where it's from, but I absolutely love it. It might sound a bit cringy to some people, but it's
all
right
about the
up,
principles behind it.
it's right up my street. The quote goes, "Don't worry about me if I fall. The person who I will become will catch me."
Oh, that's beautiful. That's nice.
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah.
And it goes back to what you were saying.
Yeah.
The risk. Oh, Braulio, what if you don't? Well, there's no risk without reward.
Yeah. And then as long as
there's no reward without risk. You don't take the risk, there's no reward.
And as long as you are prepared to take, you know, I was prepared for the worst case scenario. And of course, I wasn't going to be reckless to be fighting after a neck injury if I had a doubt that if something happened, I could be paraplegic again. I was fully confident and belief of the surgery that I did was a good surgery with the good equipment, with the good structure that is not going to affect me. But I managed to take him down twice. Oh, nobody has put. I didn't score the points, Jacare, you know. But you fell in the butt. Nobody has ever put him on the ground ever. Honestly, I'm telling you, the guy is time. The guy is Alex. The guy is a machine. It's like
he looks so physically strong.
He's the strongest guy that I ever trained.
That's what I was about to ask. Is he the strongest guy you've ever felt?
There's someone here. Era alguém lá? It's like he's to keep him down. It's like I think it's easier a real crocodile to keep him down because his nickname Jacare is a crocodile. But the thing is, the rivalry push you through, right? Make you want to overcome yourself in order to. But as you mentioned, it's never been personal. We have good relationship. Like Shandy is one of my biggest rivals too. He was on my wedding. You know what I mean? Like every year we catch up. We get great friends, you know. And it's got the respect coming together, you know.
Final question to finish on. talked about the fulfillment of winning. The story you've told today is incredible. It's all said and done now. Your competitive career is behind you, a thing of the past. And you've talked a bit about the things that have given you fulfillment beyond that, coaching, helping build confidence in people, the greater meaning to it. With all of that in mind, what to you is the meaning of life? Do you think there is an inherent meaning, or have you created a meaning for yourself?
Meaning of life for me is to find your purpose, right? And some people who cannot create your purpose, and being happy and fulfilled, right? That's why I had a crash when I didn't feel fulfillment. Well, something is missing, because I feel like if you have the perfect life, and doesn't matter what level of like politics or money level that you are, if you are happy and content, you are happy and content. You know? When you're happy and content, you can be happy and content in Birmingham, London, or in the moon. You're not going to be happier, you know. But and then how can you be happy? Well, be happy with yourself first, and then if you have people around you that makes you happy, then you become more happy. Then,
but it starts from within.
But it has to start from you. You know what I mean? And that's the purpose, is to become as good as you could be, a version of yourself, to improve, to find happiness within yourself and fulfillment with yourself, and after irradiate to people around you. You know, because what's the point? You'll be the only tree on a forest, on an empty forest. You know what I mean? What's the point, right? What's the point? You have 5 Ferraris and 3 Porsches and a house in the size of a shopping center by yourself in the middle of the Sahara Desert. You know, and while your family members are in a completely different stage. You know, this is talking about materialistic because it's easy for us to understand. But how about the happiness?
It applies with emotions as well, right?
With everything. And that when you find it, you help people to find. And there's a say, life is great when you're happy. Life is even better when people around you are also happy. But when people out there are happy for something that you did, it's even better. This is living heaven on earth, you know, and that's what is my pursuit. My pursuit is to go up in levels in terms of impact the community, bring people who are like-minded, impacting them positively, create the opportunity so they can fulfill their desires, so they can be happy and content. Therefore, later helping them to do that to others, and happy that to do that to others, and on the process impacting people around, and everyone growing together like a forest. You know, like I do a lot of comparison with the trees, because I was looking to find what's the most, because I believe that every success story has the same principles behind, is very correlated. It's like the principles are similar, and I try to find out what's the most successful beings. And at the time, we'll finish this podcast another time with the continuation, but I found like the trees, man. Look at that. Is it the lion most successful being? No, the lions are successful, but let's check the principles. Okay, that's the Lion King, that's the Lion of the Pride, and then you see he's a guy, he gets all the lionesses, and then all the little lions come, oh, you not, it's mine, all mine, all mine. And then later they want to take your spot, and to the point that you die by yourself. You'll be pushed out of the pride, die a terrible life in the end, and the lion that became the king of the pride, they're doing the same to the others. And do you know what I mean? I said, is this a good sequence? You know, how long does the lion live? How long does the lion live happy? You know, because he's happy.
When it's all about competition, you don't have as much time to be together, enjoy.
And also about me, right? Selfish, all mine, all yours. And okay, cool. One day you won't have the energy, and then now, boom. So now he's present on the future will be terrible, will be shit. So therefore won't be successful. That was successful while you're raining. Is this a successful way of being? No. How about the trees? Oh, look, the trees, there are trees that has 3,000 years. They are here before even any other being, right? What's the principle that they live by? Look, they don't take energy from no one. They take the energy from the sun. They, they like give fruits. They give shades, shelter. Shelter.
They grow together.
They grow together underneath of the soil. It took a long time. They communicate up to the mother tree communicates to up to 47 different trees, even from different species. And by doing so, because they cannot achieve the sun to get the photosynthesis and other nutrients, it doesn't stop. This tree grows on its maximum anyway. There are trees that they are helping that will grow more than it, but doesn't stop you grow for your full potential. But that tree is there because of you. And they also pass information underneath that you might need to keep alive and keep you on the network. So I go, man, this is awesome, So the sun doesn't shine for itself, The trees doesn't make fruits for itself, It's that's the thing. That's I feel like this is the cycle that people sometimes don't focus on. A lot of people want to be the lions, but then eventually, when you realize, oh, it's not about that. Oh, too late now because I don't have the energy anymore. The time passes. Now I'm going to be here on a happy life for that amount of time. A lot of people focus on business. They become successful in that moment. But then how many people around you can you trust? How many people are they actually happy with you? How many people are actually glad that you exist? How many people are willing to spend their time, like everyone has 24 hours, right? To spend time with you genuinely, not because they have to. I think this is that would be the success in life. Is to live in a community where people enjoy to be around you and they happy for something that you did. Therefore, that is the appreciation and retribution. And that's what I aim to be. That's why I help as many people as possible from different sectors, giving them opportunities. Some people will take the opportunity, some people won't, some people will just disappear, some others going to be, this is good. And whoever stays, I'm trying to cause the impact on my reach as far as possible. My reach, the more the reach grows, the more I think about reach more, like I did from white belt to black belt.
Braulio, that is absolutely amazing. We could continue in this vein until the sun goes down. There's so much more I wanted to talk about, and we said
number two
very soon. I'm so glad that the conversation went the way it did. Really resonated with me, and thank you again for everything you shared.
I'll see you very soon. Be welcome at any time.
Thank you.
And send my regards to Kevin, to Jimmy, and it should be nice to catch up at some point.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Thanks,
man.